Good day, friends. Welcome to another session of Customer Insights with Mohammed. I am the founder of M Coach, a boutique consulting firm focused on helping you become the definitive authority in new product innovation. In a series of sessions, we'll be talking about how you can go about a deliberate process of building thoughtful products. In this session, we'll be talking about one company that is defining the future of work, that is building tools in mature markets and emerging as a thought leader in a particular categories. It is led by an enigmatic founder who has already had multiple exits to his credit. Yes, we are talking about Superhuman. Superhuman is founded by Rahul Vora. We have to talk a little bit about Rahul here. Rahul started programming at an young age of 8, and ever since then he has been involved in programming. He is an avid gamer and also somebody who is a proponent of game thinking. And he has his unique style and approach when it comes to talking about product building. He is very much known for his famous article on how to find product market fit, which is available, which is kind of a bible for a lot of people building software products and trying to achieve product market fit. However, the thing that fascinates me about Rahul is not just about where he started, but what he thinks about building products and how he takes a very first principle approach to understand everything about product building. Going deep, breaking conventions. I think, in one word, if you want to discuss or talk about Rahul, I think that he is one radical, but he's a very soft spoken radical. That's how I look at him. You will be amazed by the quality and the free openness with which he shares his insights and knowledge. The quality of his thought and the acumen he brings to the table is fascinating. And I'm enamored by that. You would have recognized by now how much of a fanboy I am. However, the thing that is very important about this story of Superhuman is all about where it started. You all must be knowing that Rahul was the founder of a Gmail plugin called Rapportive. He built that particular plugin to hundreds of millions of users and eventually sold it to LinkedIn. In the process of that journey of building Rapportive, he realized how email is so important, yet email's performance has been deteriorating over a period of time. Especially the standard bearer Gmail, with its diversity of tools and technologies, leveraging a lot of plugins, have gone to the situation of a bloated tool. So if you are trying to work offline, if you are a senior leader of an organization trying to get things done either offline or online, you are spending a lot of time. So Rahul, as a CEO of a company, felt this pain. It's not just once, he has felt it so much that he started building this vision of a new tool while still at LinkedIn. And the way he looked at it is a super fast email experience in the world. That's fantastic, right? Super fast email experience in the world. One thing that we need to look at it, email is an already existing category, and the set of tools that are required for you as a person trying to communicate with other is already laid out, and it is already somewhat like a mature category. Most people will try to avoid getting into this category. Rahul himself states that he had his own doubts, whether to get into this category or whether to do something else. Then he realized that he is the best person to do it, because he is such a productivity nerd and a productivity geek that he wants to ensure his own life is better organized, his time is well spent, and that realization and the long period of sickness with the current status quo led him to take this plunge. And from whatever I heard, that he started this in 2014, and 5 years of groundwork to get this product to 300,000, 400,000 wait list in 2021. Amazing how much time real founders spend thinking about a problem. And it is not even a problem that is a new innovation. It's already a mature category. There's a lot of tools are available, and you are trying to improve the experience. Here it is very important for us to think about the Kano model and how you are trying to improve your satisfaction one step at a time. I'm sure that Rahul would have looked at it from that angle, but I don't know. But his goal was to delight the customer. His goal was to bring more happiness to the customer by improving their productivity. One of the things that I realized when I heard Rahul is how he thinks about creating impact. He said, I can either go ahead and create impact one-on-one with individuals by building a consumer company, or I can create impact on thought leaders who are running multi-billion-dollar companies and thereby create a disproportionate impact on the people who are dependent on their businesses. That's fantastic, right? You're looking at from a very, very self-capability point of view and see, okay, here is what I as an individual can do right now, and how I can bring to bear the network effects so that I can have disproportionate impact on the world. This is something that you as a product builder have to think about when you are trying to create impact. So from that angle of impact, he wanted to help leaders of organizations improve their productivity so that they can have more time for themselves and more time for their employees to do the best thing for themselves. And from this angle, he wanted to build this super fast email experience in the world. While he had this vision, he did not go headlong into building it, start to coding it, and then using that tool to experiment and find out what is the customer feedback. While that kind of an approach might be helpful if you are building a new product, it is never helpful when you are trying to take the existing product a notch up. You are trying to go to this level of delighting the customer, trying to find out what is really working very well with the existing product and what is not working. So what Rahul did is astonishing. He spent close to 1 year researching this particular category, finding people who are having similar problems, having conversations with them. In fact, I think I would call it, he had this approach to engage with them one-on-one, and then take that engagement to an engrossing conversation, and from that engrossing conversation he started building insights. And you know what? He spoke to 1,000 customers or 1,000 people who had pains around email and who was subscribing to his vision of improving that email experience. Not just one, not just 10. You are speaking to 1,000 people over a period of 1 year. And amazing, how much of an effort goes into really diligent customer research work. I don't know how big he had a team and who are the people who are involved in this customer research, what kind of methodology, what kind of frameworks, but I'm definitely sure from his two expectations, that is, okay, what is your current setup? What do you love about the current setup? What do you hate about the current setup? And in this process, he was trying to understand the features that are top of recall, that are a must have, and those features, either they are a must have but they are very slow, or there are features that they require but are not available. Over these 1,000 conversations, and I am sure he would have got tons of insight. And those insights he started to leverage in the process of building a product. Now, next comes this journey of his approach to building a product. He set himself 18 to 24 months in order to find a first paying customer. In this world of depending upon North Star metrics, daily active users, monthly active users, lifetime value, look at how much time Rahul thought about finding the first paying customers. What that tells me is that product building is an expensive craft. You have to invest upfront in doing a lot of research if you want to create a product that is having disproportional impact on your customers. And 2.5 years, I think, I'm not 100% sure whether it's 2.5 years or 2 years, whatever be the time period, that is long enough to do customer research and to come to a conclusion of what to build and prioritize the problems that are most pertinent for the kind of audience you are trying to solve the problem for. Look, email is a very, very done and dusted product. It's everybody's product, but even though the total available market was so huge, Rahul chose to go after the top 5%, 2%, 10%, whatever be it. And then from that market, he is trying to create a disproportional impact with finding customers who can buy this particular product. The realization that I have from listening to Rahul's conversation is that how important it is for you to gather customer insights. Not just once, not from a few customers, but from a lot of customers to validate if there is repeatability in the customer's problem, to validate new insights from the customer problem, to validate kind of a request, to validate what kind of pricing or what kind of monetary value they set for them for their own productivity, to understand the complete dimension of creating products. You spend a lot of time to do that, and that is the only way for you to build products that are delighting the customer, that are actually improving the happiness score. One of the important metric Rahul spoke about was how when he onboards customers, 36% of the customers get to a super fast email experience or inbox zero within the onboarding. That is, the onboarding is ended and they have gone to inbox zero, which means most of the email that they had procrastinated responding to, or did not have an option responding to, or did not feel sufficiently important for them to spend their time on, were getting resolved. Another 50% of the customers were getting to inbox zero within 4 hours of onboarding. Wow! And this is what the outcome he was trying to create, or at least what I call the quick wins. The outcomes normally happen over a long period of time. The quick wins is about getting to inbox zero. I think, have a look at your own inbox. If you're a product leader, have a look at your inbox, how cluttered it is, how many emails you have not responded, how many customers are waiting for your response, how many employees are waiting, and how much of productivity you are holding back. And look at what superhuman is able to achieve, and you have this disproportionate impact. Is your time not worth $30? That's the question that Rahul puts in front of you. Not just Rahul, the superhuman team makes you think, is $30 important, or the productivity of my team, the productivity of my customers, the productivity of my vendors is important. So I think this is that he brings this a very very interesting challenge for you, that you have to decide whether to use a clunky Gmail or a clunky email that is not able to improve your productivity, or use a tool that makes you super efficient, makes you super productive. And that's the kind of imbalance, and that's the kind of pull and push that great products make you think about, or that's what you are emotionally driven to do, right? So having talked about how they started off getting the customer insights and what the result that they are trying to achieve, my biggest realization has been that product building is a hard craft. Product building is a disciplined craft. Product building depends on lot of customer insights. Product building requires taking customer insights, validating those insights, and finding that summary, or finding that what I call is association or aggregation of customer pains. Finding that aggregation of pains that are worth solving immediately and that can have a disproportionate impact. This is what I realized. It's not only about that, right? A product builder, you are trying to create a movement. You're essentially a reformer. While you're not a reformer in the social field, you are a reformer in the field of self-actualization, or you are in the reformer in the field of revenue materialization, or you are a reformer in the field of productivity, or you are a reformer in the field of cost reduction. You are a reformer, and this is very very important. If you are a reformer, reforms normally take a long period of time. That is essentially you are trying to change habits, you are trying to change behaviors, you are trying to change many things that the customer is finding constrained by. You are liberating people from their own tyranny. And this is the realization that I have. And if you are a product builder wanting to build a product like Superhuman, or you want to have a disproportionate impact on your customers, think about creating a movement. To create the movement, you have to find people who are dispersed across the globe with the same pain that you have, and leverage that pain in order to create this movement. The first and foremost difficulty in creating a movement is to find the first follower. Once you find that follower, finding the next follower, then the third follower. It takes its own pace. You cannot force feed creation of a movement. You have to take your time. You have to make it organic. And that is the only way to do this. A lot of well-meaning people give very, very abstract advice about creating products. They say you have to find the right customer. You have to find the right market. You have to find the right channel. You have to find the right model. You have to find the right people. You have to find the right this, right that. There's lot of insights around being right. But the most important thing that you have to be right about is the right of understanding customer pains, getting right the customer insights. And this particular job is the foundation of getting every other thing right. Right? How do you get this? How do you get this customer insight if you are a solopreneur? How do you get this customer insight if you are a bootstrapped small company? How do you get this customer insights if you are a company, with very, very limited resources, not having the bandwidth to do everything? There is a nice article about constraints breeding creativity. I think this is a Harvard article about constraints breeding creativity. You are constrained, which means you have to become more creative. While you may not have the liberty to spend 18 to 24 months building a product to find the first paying customer, or 1 year to do customer research, you have to realize that this research is the foundation to get to the customer pains, to understand the customer pains, to communicate the customer pains, to get your team to align to the customer pains is the most important foundation you can define for yourself and your team. And that is how superhuman built products customers love. And I hope you also are able to create products customers love with that kind of a thinking. To help you do that, I am doing a session on holistic product thinking on the 30th of this month. It's a half an hour session, 30-minute session, to help you get started with a framework that can help you articulate customer pains in a standard way, repeatable way, where you can use that tool to find customer alignment. I am hoping that you will join me in the session and help your team and the people who are dependent on your products to create outsized impact on the world. Yes, I am looking forward to you to become the definitive authority in new product innovation or product improvement. Come join me for a session of holistic product thinking and help improve your craft of building products customers love. Thank you so much.